A massive rally and a game where the Tigers had to have it. It's Locked on LSU. Let's go.
You are Locked on LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked on LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We are free, available wherever you get podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you so much for that. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. Stock up today and stay energized. Okay, LSU gets past Mississippi State by the hardest in game one. The Tigers rally behind a 5-run fifth inning, and they outlast Mississippi State 8-6, thanks in large part due to the work Zach Cowan did out of the bullpen in this game. So we'll dive into all of it. Please drop your comments if you're new to our post-game shows. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'll give you my takeaways in the game, and then we'll get to your feedback. So please drop your questions in. We'll get to all of that. Let me just go straight to that 5-run fifth inning because that's clearly where the game changed. Cade Anderson had allowed 2 runs in the first, a run in the second, a run in the third, a run in the fourth, and you look up and you're down 6-2 in the ball game. And my goodness, the Tigers came out in the fifth, and Mississippi State opened the door, and emphatically LSU kicked that thing in. This is how the fifth inning started. Walk, walk, homer, single, homer, walk, walk. As I mentioned, Mississippi State opened the door, but Dickinson's 3-run homer, Milam's 2-run shot were the big blasts, and LSU had put up a 5 spot and retaken the lead, or had taken the lead, I should say, for the first time before an out was recorded in that inning. And you think of it, Curiel led off the inning with a walk on a 3-2 pitch. Jones patiently 3-1 pitch, takes his walk. Dickinson got ahead in the count, got a fastball up, crushed it over the left field wall. Pearson singles on a 2-1 pitch, again ahead in the count. Milam on the first pitch of the AB yanks one over the left field wall. Brown walked on 4 pitches. Hernandez walked on 4 pitches. Bottom line is you had a Mississippi State bullpen that had faltered at that point once you got into it. And it was kind of what we anticipated in this game, that offensively, it's how it would go for LSU. Like if you look in total and not knowing how it all played out, a better way to say it. And you told me LSU put up 8 runs in this ball game and beat Mississippi State. I go, yeah, that's probably about how it went. State was pitching off, kind of a bullpen day. Tigers put up 8 runs, probably won comfortably. You would not have anticipated it would have gone the way that it did. But that huge fifth run, the 5-run fifth inning was massive. The 3 homers for LSU were huge as well. How about Derek Curiel, who got LSU started with the scoring with the solo homer in the second? Opposite field, continues to show the ability to hit to the opposite field. And then, of course, the run that LSU scored in the third inning as well, to pull within at that point it was 4-2 at that point when LSU pushed their run across in the third. Forgive me. The third was Curiel's solo homer. Brown's run on the double steal in the bottom of the second was the first run for the Tigers. Forgive me for that. So anyway, Tigers rally for the win. Let me talk a little bit here about the pitching and how this went. And then actually one other quick note on the offense. So the last run that LSU scored in the ballgame, this is notable because we did talk about this all throughout the week. So Mississippi State's catcher, Highfill, is a really elite defensive catcher. He took a ball to the face last week, missed the rest of the series, and Joe Powell filled in for him. So it's one of the things we told you about if you'd been with us, to be mindful to see if Highfill caught or if Powell was in there. Well, Powell caught today in this ball game. He was 1 for 2 in the ball game. He homered. But defensively, that last run that scored for LSU on the wild pitch. Again, that was Powell behind the plate who allowed that break-in ball to get away from him, and Reeves scored the final run of the game for LSU. So again, keep in mind, if Highfield doesn't catch this weekend, that is a huge defensive deficiency for Mississippi State. So make sure you keep an eye on that as we move throughout the weekend. I got to talk a little bit about the pitching here and how it played out. Zach Cowan was awesome, but let me start with Cade Anderson. Whenever they were doing the in-game interview with Chris Lemonis, and Anderson, his pitch count ran up near 30 pitches in the first inning, and you knew that he was going to be in trouble by the time he got to the third. He was already over 60 pitches. And for the game, Anderson ended up pitching just 4 1/3. He got the strikeout to start the fifth against the lefty, and then they pulled him for Connor Binge. But 101 pitches through 4 1/3. And Lemonis in that in-game interview said, our plan today was to grind him out, meaning Anderson, and get him out of the game. So it's pretty clear that's sort of a glimpse into the window of what Mississippi State is thinking. We all know that LSU's bullpen has not been great this year, and we know it. Chris Lemonis knows it as well. So his objective is to try to get into that bullpen as early as he could and get Cade Anderson out of the game. It's honestly the thing I wanted to see LSU do in the game on Sunday when Texas was starting their reliever Riojas and it was going to be a bullpen day. You wanted to see him maybe work counts and get him out of the game and get deep into that Texas bullpen. Instead, they took the opposite approach and were really aggressive against a guy who threw strikes early in the count and ultimately allowed him to go pitch into the sixth inning. But I thought Mississippi State's plan tonight, they executed it very well. They were able to drive up Cade Anderson's pitch count. And unfortunately for Cade Anderson, my goodness, like the 2-run shot he gave up in the first, we talked about it all week, guys. Ace Reese is the one guy you can't make a mistake to. He's the Houston transfer. Remember, I was telling you, he's been with the leg injury. He was the last out of the game. See him hobbling to first base on the last out of the game. The one he was hobbling around the base like Kirk Gibson. The one guy you can't make a mistake to was Ace Reese, and Cade Anderson hangs a slider in the first inning and gave up a 2-run bomb. The 3 homers hurt you and put you down 6-2, but ultimately the long ball is what got LSU back into it. It wasn't a banner day for Cade Anderson. Usually he's so good at putting hitters away, but hat tip to Mississippi State. They made him work. Anderson threw a bunch of strikes, y'all. He threw 65 strikes of the 101 pitches that he threw. He did walk 2, but they made him work. And hat tip to Mississippi State for executing their strategy. And ultimately, even though they lost the game, what it also did was forced the way they played, it forced LSU to burn Zach Cowan. So one of the 2 bullpen arms that you really trust is now done for the weekend. Cowan threw 59 pitches. Now, I went 4 innings, had 7 strikeouts, no walks. I will say, as much as I disagreed with Jay Johnson's decision last week to burn Cowan in game 1 with a 6-run lead, it was 1 bajillion% the right decision in this game to let Zach Cowan go finish it. Y'all, first of all, it was a 2-run ball game. It was a 1-run ball game, actually, when Cowan came in, and then you got the extra run, the extra insurance in the bottom of the 8th. But you needed Zach Cowan there to finish it and hold the rope, and he did. It was a tight ball game. It was a huge situation, a leverage spot. You needed him. Last week, he came in up 6. There was no reason to burn him up 6. That was the point. This was 100% the right thing to do, and you got home and you won the game. And it's also the game you had to win because Mississippi State pitched off. They saved Pico Cone, their ace, their Friday night guy. They kept him on regular rest, so he's pitching on Friday. So it's going to be Ianson against Cone, who's their number 1 guy, right? So they pitched off. They threw Sierra and had a bullpen day. You had Cade Anderson. You had to win this game. Like, you couldn't go lose the game Cade Anderson started against their bullpen day. So you had to go get it, and you did what you had to do. Close game. Cowan got you home. Awesome. You won it. Great. It would have been great if the offense had showed up earlier. Maybe Cade Anderson had a better day, and you didn't have to burn a guy like Cowan in this one. But all things considered, you did what you had to do. You got the win you had to get. And now you go into game 2 where it'll be Anthony Ianson. You won't have the benefit of of Zach Cowan. Connor Binge could most certainly come back. He only threw 25 pitches. I don't know that we see Binge tomorrow, but he'll be available. After Ianson, you have your full arsenal. You'll have Connor Ware, and you'll have William Schmidt, and you'll have DJ Primo, and anybody else you want to go to. I'm hesitating to say Case and Evans because I think the only way we see Case and Evans in game 2 is if LSU has a lead late in the ball game and he's got a chance to finish it and slam the door. If LSU's got a lead in game 2 on Friday with with a couple of innings to go, then I think you see Case and Evans. One other quick note here that I think could be relevant, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on this while we're doing the show live here, is we are waiting to see what may happen for Friday's game. So there's expected to be a bunch of rainy weather and inclement weather in Baton Rouge on Friday. And I know there was some talk. It looks like the forecast is actually pretty good, but there was some talk today about possibly moving Friday's game up. So if while we're doing the show that news comes, we'll certainly pass it along to you. So tomorrow, it'll be Einson against Pico Cone, the Friday night guy for Mississippi State against the number 2 guy for LSU. And we'll see if the Tigers can move the 2-0 and win the series. But it certainly flips. Game 2 is a game where the way that it's set up, the advantage on the mound certainly goes to Mississippi State and Cone. Okay, my thoughts on this game. Let's get to yours. We'll step aside briefly and come back. So get your questions and comments in. It's Locked on LSU, your team every day. We are all about the stats because numbers don't lie. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada Pro-4X, the numbers are on an MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds, it can quite literally carry the whole team, plus the gear, wherever you go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with room for up to 8 people, the Armada Pro-4X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the arena, the Armada Pro-4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro-4X. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. Picking your favorite team, whoever you got your eye on. I picked Auburn to win the whole thing, whoever you may have. FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long at FanDuel. Okay, let's get to your questions. We appreciate you for being. If you're here live on YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified when we post a new video or when we go live. If you're listening or watching on demand, we appreciate you greatly so much for being there with us. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube. And remember, as soon as the games go final, we're live on YouTube, so be sure to join us there. Okay, glad to have you hanging out with us here. Let's get to some of you. There's Roderick Claiborne. Michael Ingram said Cowan is a dog. Can you imagine where this bullpen would be without Zach Cowan? And I know there's the idea and the thought that some people ask about moving him into the rotation. I'm just not there for the reason you saw tonight. You got 2 guys in the bullpen you trust. If there's an eventuality where guys in the rotation struggle and you start to have guys emerge in the bullpen, then maybe you can consider that. But as of this point, keep him where he is. Hunter said, great win. Wish Anderson could have extended further. Cowan's incredible. How many bunts made you mad tonight? The only one that made me mad was the one in the bottom of the 8th where they sacrificed to get the runner to second. That run did come around to score, but y'all know my thoughts. I am okay bunting to score a run. Stanfield's bunt on the suicide squeeze, unfortunately, they went right to the pitcher. They made a nice play at the plate. If you're bunting for a hit, bunting to score a run, I'm good with you. Sacrificing an out to get to advance a runner, I'll never be okay with that. Connor, off night for Cade. He did well not to let State hang a crooked number. Could have gotten bad early. That's true. And sometimes that's the thing that we got to keep in mind. It's honestly the type of thing we've seen a lot from the other 2 pitchers, the other 2 starters in Ianson and Shores. The way I've described those guys is they've been effective. They just haven't been efficient. they've limited damage. They've gotten you outs. They just haven't gone deep into the game because their pitch counts have gotten too high. Yellow Jacket 70. This was a championship type of game. Pick up your ace on his bad day. Love to see it. That is very true. One of the things we said after last week's game, when you went on the road against Texas and Cade Anderson was awesome for 6 innings, the point was Cade Anderson gives you a chance to win on every Friday. It's a bona fide ace. It's not to say he's going to win every Friday, but it gives you a chance to win on any Friday. And there's going to be days like this because this is baseball. But your offense took advantage of Mississippi State's miscues, worked counts, ultimately got into the bullpen and made it happen the way it had to. Because this is when it's hard to understate it, man, or overstate it. Because Mississippi State pitched off, you had to get this win, and you did. Brain Trust Sports Map. They traded an out to advance Tanner, and it paid off. Are you okay? I can't actually argue that it did pay off. Brain Trust Sports, because what happened if you didn't get the out and you had gotten a base hit? What if there was a pass ball? What if they walked that batter? What if they hit him? What if he got a double, triple homer? There's all those things that you don't know that could have happened as part of that AB. So no, I'm never okay with it. I'm glad LSU got the win, though. Dr. Saw, still can't understand why they keep calling shifts against Curiel. Any insight on this? It's a conversation that we've been having here, and I got the spray chart, and when Derek Curiel hits the ball on the ground, 75% of his ground balls go to the right side. When he hits the ball in the air, actually everything else, he sprays the ball over the field. You saw it. He hit an opposite field homer again tonight. It was interesting because Texas would implement that only when they got to 2 strikes. There was one AB tonight where they did not shift against Curiel. It could be the pitcher. If it's a lefty-righty, I haven't paid that much attention to it. But keep doing it. Leave the left side of the field open, and he's shown you he can go the other way. He's done it all season. Bubba Smith. Grayson, wondering if Cowan could make a move to starting. There we go. It's only a matter of time before that question got there. No. And I'll tell you, I'll give you the 2 reasons why you don't move Cowan into the rotation. And now, anyway, number 1 is because you have to have bullpen arms. Like, what happened Saturday at Texas is the case in point, right? You've got to have someone you can give the ball to that you trust to get outs. And right now, you don't have that in the bullpen. Okay. So that's 1. Number 2, I also think it's very interesting about Cowan because he's a 91, 92 fastball and he throws that changeup. And while it's a great pitch, the more a team sees it, the more likely I think it is that he'd get hit. Actually, I've had this conversation with some scouts who watch a lot of LSU games naturally. And that's sort of been the reaction is he's probably good once through the lineup, twice maybe. But if someone gets to see him a 3rd time, it's probably at this level. Maybe it plays at Wofford, probably not in the SEC, a 3rd time through the lineup. So I guess my point is, I think what you're seeing with Cowan right now is a perfect role for him. That guy that can give you length out of the bullpen, that's going to go throw strikes. In 7 strikeouts, and I didn't walk anybody. He was awesome. Like, he's good in his role. Let him stay in that role. Hey, Jude, thanks for being there. Mike, Matthew, Anderson, Cowan seems like a solid formula to secure game 1, even on an off night from Anderson. Remember, Benj did get in there as well, and a Benj allowed a run. But yes, if you can look, man, the ideal situation is your offense goes bonkers and you don't have to use Cowan. You could save him from a higher leverage spot. But taking the lead in a 1-run game, that's absolutely the high leverage spot where you go to him. So yes, that's working pretty well. Charleston Maestro, great comeback victory. Sorry, I believe that's the one we just read. Dickinson and Milam are good at baseball. Yes, they are. Jeremy Thomas, thanks for being there, guys. Appreciate everybody for being there tonight. Sean said Hernandez needs a new stance. He gets clipped at least twice, or he got clipped twice today. He is taking a beating back there. There's no doubt. And that's a guy you can afford to lose. I think we're excited about watching Cade Aaron Beatty swing the bat the way he has in the midweek, had a big homer. He's actually a triple shy of the cycle Tuesday night against ULL. But defensively, Hernandez is not an elite defender, but he is today dramatically better than Kate Arambidi, and you've got to keep him healthy. Thaddeus, locked on every dayer. Thank you so much. I listen to AFR when I can. Whiskey and wine is a staple of football season. You're the best, Gun. Thank you, Salvage. I appreciate that. Or Thaddeus, I appreciate it very much. Yeah, shout out to all of our everydayers here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We appreciate it. We appreciate it greatly. Yeah, see, here we go. I'm convinced more than ever Cowan needs to be the Sunday starter. I just went through that. Why you don't do that. So let me pose this to you. Okay, Landon. Let's have this conversation, this hypothetical. Cowan's your Sunday starter. You rally in the fifth to take a 7-6 lead. Who do you give the ball to? Any ideas? Who's going to go give you 4 innings of shutout ball? And you can say Casey Evans. Okay. Well, then you're going to come here and you're going to have the same conversation with me about Casey Evans going to the weekend rotation. I think too often you, the universal you, not just you, think about just in terms of starters instead of how do I get 27 outs to get a win. And sometimes a starter getting you through the lineup once or twice would be great, but that's what you need to hand it to the next guy and go. I mean, what's to say Zach Cowan, like I just said, a third time through the lineup, doesn't do well. So then you're in the same situation where that's a guy that's getting you 4 innings at the start of 3-4 innings at the start of the game, and you're still in the same predicament. What this team needs is guys that can go throw strikes in leverage situations, like you saw tonight from Zach Cowan, like I hope we get a chance to see Casey Evans do this weekend as well. Caleb Anderson wasn't sharp, needs help from Shores and Ianson. Bats prevailed. Cowan has his spot. I don't want him to be moved. He shut down Miss Bats. All right. Happy International Whiskey Day. Love to hear that. Appreciate everybody for being here with us. Thank y'all for being there. Y'all are great. Please smash that like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. KD, do we see Cowan later this weekend? No, he's done. He threw 59 pitches. There's no shot that you see him again this weekend. But and I know someone had said at one point, yeah, well, but he threw twice in the regional, in short rest last year. That's true. And in June, when it's win or your season is over, you can do that. You're not doing that in March when you have everything to play for. So no. Same question there. Got to give Jay credit on the first home plate challenge. Thought there was no way they'd overturn the call. It was interesting. They said on the broadcast that anytime there's a play at the plate like that, he's going to challenge it. Because the one later where they didn't overturn it, right? When the runner was out at home on, I think it was Stanfield's suicide squeeze. They challenged it anyway. So you got 2 of them. You can't take them with you, so might as well use them. Let's see. Binge didn't look bad. Not catching the foul ball for the third out, got in his head. Mason, that's a great point. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is one of the sequences that I wanted to talk about in this game. And that was in the 5th, unfortunately, when they extended the lead to 6-2. And Binge came in. So remember, Anderson strikes out Reese to start the inning. He faced the one batter, lefty. They bring in Binge. Binge very promptly gets an 0-2 ground out. Then he walks Hines. And that was an AB where it looked like he had gotten the strikeout. He sort of like was walking off the mound. Stayed in there. Hines ends up battling back, walking. And then you had the wild pitch. Hines goes to second. Then he walks downs on a 3-2 pitch. Then he doubles. But again, the Hines at bat with 2 outs and nobody on is when Hines popped up into foul territory. Milam was shaded over, sprints all the way, overruns the ball, doesn't catch it. Ultimately, they'd walk Hines. He'd advance on the wild pitch, and then he'd score on the double. So definitely disappointing right there. But But to your point, I think Benj was good in this ball game today. Okay, I'm going to come back to more of your questions because it's a Thursday. I have to grab one more very quick break. It's just one quick read. So stay with me here. Coming back to more of your questions in a jiff. It's Locked on LSU, your team every day. Daylight savings snuck up on us again, and if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5-hour energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-hour energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Basketball Madness is here. If you're staying up late watching the tournament action, 5-hour energy will help keep you up the next day. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. If you need one now, grab a 5-hour energy shot at your local grocery store or convenience store. They're everywhere, so stock up today and stay energized with 5-hour energy. All right, we're going to get back to your questions in just a quick moment. Let me also remind you about the bracket breakdown.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Manny asked about Anderson, asking if he thought it was the short rest. No, listen, if the short rest were a problem, the most notable spot you would have seen it would have been in his velo. And Anderson was still sitting 94, 95 in this ball game. I don't think he threw 101 pitches. He threw 65. Let me make sure that's right. I think he was 65 strikes of the 101 pitches he threw. He threw 65 strikes of the 101. So his command was there. His velo was there. The 1 day shorter didn't affect him at all. Like, just to give credit to Mississippi State, they made him work deep into counts. And so his pitch count went up, and so he just didn't extend deep into the ballgame. The 2-run homer that he gave up to Ace Reese, he hung a slider. The one guy on that lineup who leads him in homers, doubles, RBI that you don't hang a slider to is Ace Reese. He hung a slider. Didn't miss it. Crushed it. And you know what? Later in the game, he had a 3-2 pitch to Daniel Dickinson, threw him a letter-high fastball, and Dickinson crushed it. It's college, man. Let's see. Ryan Dixon, think Jay needs to move on at pitching coach. Look, man, they had 8 pitchers drafted last year. I'm not telling you should be pumped about the way the bullpen has sort of gone about it this way so far. But the thing I'll also tell you definitively is you're allowed to improve. And you've got a ton of young arms that everybody in the country wanted. So let's see what happens as the season goes along with Connor Ware and with William Schmidt and with Cooper Williams and Maverick Rizzi. All these dudes that are great throwers. Let's see how they develop as this goes throughout. I'm going to go to the bottom, work my way up a little bit here. Clint, wouldn't mind seeing DC in center field with Fry and Brown on either side. Well, Curiel is 100% a center fielder, and he'll be there next year when Stanfield's out of eligibility. I think Jay likes having Stanfield's veteran leadership, a guy with 400 collegiate at-bats. Batting in the 9-hole isn't a bad thing either. So I don't think we're going to see that. And quite honestly, I'm not sure I have any interest in seeing Ethan Fry in the outfield. You want to DH him as a right-handed bat. I'm okay with that at times. My preference is, you all know, I just need to see Jake Brown in the lineup every day. He's a 5-tool guy. He has the makeup of a big leaguer. He was 2 for 3 in the ballgame tonight with a walk. I got to have Jake Brown in my lineup every single day. I know some of you disagree with that. I don't really see the counter argument. I think the comment Jay made earlier this season about right field, talking about using Pearson and Fry and Brown and sort of using them all in a way to create basically like an All-American caliber player. My point is just play the All-American caliber player. I don't need 3 of them to combine their stats to because one guy can do it with a super high ceiling. So, hopeful for that. Eric, if it rains out Saturday, they have Sunday available to play. Might get Cowan back if so. Eric, I don't think we're going to see a rain out. I think they're going to get this series in. And that is a good question if they would push it to Sunday. My understanding is that once the series starts, you have 3 days to get it in. So they couldn't go to Sunday because we have seen that transpire before. Now in the postseason, obviously, you get it in because you have to before a team can advance. But I think they would have to have it done by Saturday. Tremaine, let's see, you came through like Cowan with the Elijah Cracker. You got it, man. Hey, Robert, thanks for being there. Matthew, 100% agree. Cowan is best out of the pen. Can't get through the lineup multiple times. He's such a change of pace for Anderson, Einstein, and Shores. See if I can get a couple of more in here. Let's see. Now, Rocky said Anderson was rocked the first time through the lineup. If they hit Cowan third time, I'm good with that. See, you're missing the point. Rocky, Anderson getting touched up today was an outlier. That happens to every pitcher in the history of the game. I think you would agree, Cade Anderson is your best arm. He's a legit Friday night guy. I mean, he's coming 95 from the left side with a breaking ball and a changeup for strike as well. He's awesome. It's about where do you see value in roles. So you're saying you don't like the fact that Chase Shores can only give you, say, 4 innings on a Sunday. So you want to put Cowan there. Okay. Well, what if Cowan gives you 4 innings on a Sunday? But now you've taken your most valuable bullpen asset out. It doesn't make sense. Everyone has roles, and I don't know how else to make you understand the importance of Zach Cowan's role. You had a 1-run ball game, and Zach Cowan took the ball and didn't allow a run. He got you home and got you this win. What if you were saving Cowan for Sunday to start? Well, then what do you do today? You've got to recognize. I think a lot of you are just putting way too much emphasis on what you perceive to be length of a starting pitcher. That's just not something that happens a ton in college. Look at the opponent you're playing. They threw a bullpen day today. They're going to throw their ace tomorrow. They held their ace and pitched off because they don't have 2 other great starters. You're concerned that your 6'8" dude that throws 99 miles an hour is only giving you 4 innings. What a luxury to have that guy. Sonny said Shores is the key to the whole season. I kind of agree with you, Sonny. I think if it's Shores, if it's Connor Ware, if it's William Schmidt, eventually to get where you want to go in the postseason, you will need somebody to take the ball as a number 3 starter to be able to extend and win a big game for you. In 2013, that was Thatcher Hurd in Omaha, right? Now you played your way out of the losers bracket, so you ended up having great performances from Griffin Herring and Nate Ackenhausen, as we well know. But yes, be it if you get to the Monday game of a regional or you have to come out of the losers bracket in Omaha, eventually you're going to need that guy. And yes, it would be great. Okay. Any more that I want to get to? This is a good question by Fred. He said, did State burn a good arm to shut down the rally? No, they didn't. And honestly, the only arm from State that would be burned for the weekend would be Sierra, who started it through 56 pitches. Everyone else would be available to come back. Hunt Gates, the one that came in and went 3 1/3 and kind of limited things. He threw 37 pitches. You wouldn't necessarily see him tomorrow, but he could certainly come back in game 3. That's number 26. He was the one that gave them some length after McPherson got rocked and then Burns got rocked. They brought in Hunt Gate, who's the one that kind of stemmed the tide, but he certainly wouldn't pitch tomorrow, but he could certainly pitch on day 3. Fred asked about where Gavin Guidry is in recovery. Jay never really talks very much about about injuries, and I can certainly understand and respect that. What I had once been told by one person I've now had confirmed by multiple that he's got a back issue, and now there's actually another complicated issue on top of that as well. So I think they're hopeful, but not counting on anything as of this point. So we'll see. Does Cowan remind you of Ty Floyd? Actually, not in the least. Ty Floyd threw 97 miles an hour. No, he doesn't remind me at all, like literally at all of Ty Floyd. I mean, are you talking about? And I was gonna say, are you talking about a role? But not even the role. I mean, Ty Floyd was your number 2 starter behind Paul Skeens. You know what I mean? Like, Cowan's a shorter guy, sits 91, 92, has a really good changeup. Ty Floyd, remember, throws 97. He kept elevating the fastball, which was, the thing that he kept getting all that swing and miss with on the Florida guys in the College World Series. So I don't mean to be totally dismissive. I just don't know what you mean in terms of the comparison, because I don't really see it. Okay. Anything else? All right, I think we might be just about done, y'all. Thank you so much for being there with us. Please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel. Facebook. This is the guy that was talking about Curiel being a dead pull hitter. Said, you must have told Curiel and made the comment he was a pull hitter. He's been hitting everything Oppo since. I retracted. He's been getting on a base a lot with Oppo hits. He homered opposite field again tonight. No, but that's the thing that I was telling you, because when you asked me the question, I was able to obtain his spray chart. And I try to tell you, I'm actually looking at it right now. And this was as of 2 weeks ago. When he hits the ball on the ground, 75% of the time it goes to the right side. When he hits it to the outfield, 29% to left, 43% to center, 29% to right. Anyway, he's hit to all fields all season. But sometimes we just look for confirmation bias. You get something in your head and you think that's a thing, that's the reality. And so every time you see it, you point it out and then you ignore evidence to the contrary. I'm not saying definitively that's what happened, but I think that's something commonly that we all do. So, okay. But Steven Walzak said, why not bunt for a base hit when they're shifting so far towards second base? I completely agree with you. The objective is to keep the merry-go-round moving, to get on base, and that's great. Yes, I agree. Always take your hit, take your base. All right, y'all, let's get out of here. Y'all have an awesome night. Tigers win, fired up for it. The one they had to get in this series as State pitched off and LSU threw Anderson. It didn't go the way that we thought it would, but the result is what you needed. So see if the Tigers can come out on Friday and get a series win. Y'all keep an eye up for any news about potential first pitch changes for Game 2. NIL Youngboy asked me a prediction for Game 2. It's hard not to pick Mississippi State in Game 2. They're throwing their ace. You're throwing Ianson, and you just use one of your best bullpen arms. My hope of how Game 2 would go is, so I'll pick State to win Game 2. But my hope of how this game goes is that LSU offensively can get to Pico Cone early. And they did see 2 lefty starters last week in Spencer and Harrison from Texas and fared very well against both of them. So, and you're at home here. So if they can chase Cone in that game early, you got a real great shot to win the series on Friday. Okay, y'all, let me get out of here. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for making this your first listen every single day. Now for your second listen, go check out Locked On College Basketball. Be the most informed college basketball fan throughout the madness. Find Locked On College Basketball on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, it's Locked On LSU, your team every day.